Executive Director of the Tookonie-Tacony Frankford Watershed Partnership, or TTF. We connect our communities to their creeks. We do that through education, stewardship, restoration, and advocacy, and by working with our neighbors to empower them to improve and make differences in our watershed. One of the tools that we use is our Creekmobile, and we're really excited about talking about that today. Our work in Philadelphia focuses on Tacony Creek Park. This park is a 300-acre park. It's a beautiful green space, and it contains what's left of the Tacony Creek system. It's a 3.2-mile walking trail that is part of the circuit, and it's a wonderful neighborhood asset that includes nature and wildlife and places for people to really relax and get some peace. This map shows some of the great features in Tacony Creek Park, which includes a connection under the Roosevelt Boulevard and historic bridges and over 100 species of birds. One of the challenges of working in Tacony Creek Park is that we don't have an environmental education center. So we talked about a lot of options, we've done a lot of brainstorming, and that is where the concept of the Creekmobile came from in order to be able to bring environmental resources into the park and onto the trail. In order to develop the Creekmobile, we first brought together a number of environmental educators to advise us about the kind of hands-on activities we would be able to incorporate. We also received funding from the Joseph Robert Foundation and the Alliance for Watershed Education to support the development of the Creekmobile, and we tested a prototype for the first season and then added and enhanced that with some additional activities.
Hello everybody, I'm Ryan and I'm the Upstream Conservation Leader at TTF, and I'm going to be walking through some of the specifics of the Creekmobile today. So as you can see, it's a mobile education cart, so it's on a bike here so we can pedal it to different parts of the park and other areas in our watershed to do different environmental activities with kids and families and whatnot. So now I'm going to explain a few of the environmental education activities that are built into the Creekmobile here. So the first of these that we have is a cornhole game, and so how this works basically is you have the outline of the watershed here with all of the creeks and then all of the names of the creeks too, so you can learn the names, and all of these little circles here that you throw these little raindrops into simulate when water falls in a watershed, and all of it then ends up flowing to one point, which basically describes what a watershed is. So now I'm going to introduce the second activity that we have built into the Creekmobile here. And so what this is it's an Enviroscape that is customized to represent a urban environment like a street in Philadelphia. And so what this does basically is you'll have a bottle that simulates rain coming down on the street, and so it'll show how the water flows, and you can add things like this, which is basically green stormwater infrastructure. And also we have the little creek over here too, so it basically just describes how water flows in a watershed. So now I'm going to introduce the third and final built-in activity to the Creekmobile. And so what this is it's called the fishing game. So it simulates the bottom of the creek and being in the creek. And so there's examples of fish in here, as well as trash. So it's showing that there's living stuff in the creek, but then also how much of a problem trash actually is in the creek. So now we're going to go through a brief demonstration to sort of show how this game works.
Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm the Philadelphia Stewardship Manager here at TTF Watershed. And today, we're going to do some fishing using the Creekmobile. Let's see what we can catch today. Some interesting things in the water today.
Whoa! Looks like you got a bottle. Do you know what this is made out of?
If I were to guess, it looks like plastic.
How long do you think that plastic takes to break down in a creek?
I'm going to say a long time, so I'm going to say at least 50 years.
So it can take up to 450 years for plastic to break down in a creek. So, what might be some ways that we can keep plastic from getting into the creek in the first place?
The number one thing we could do is probably recycle. You know, practice better recycling habits and hobbies. Also, you can bring your own water bottle to the actual creek when you come here.
Great answer.
Let's see what else we can catch today. How about this? Where are all the fish at?
What do you think this is made out of?
Let's say paper.
So I think it might be made out of cardboard.
Hmm.
So how long do you think that cardboard takes to break down in the creek?
I'm gonna say a couple days, maybe a week or two.
So cardboard actually takes 10 to 12 weeks to break down in the creek.
Thank you.
So what are some of the ways you think you can stop cardboard from getting into the creek?
Well, what we can do is actually just practice on our litter intake and just try to either recycle or just pick it up after ourselves. Let's see if we can get a fish here. Alright. Oh, look at that.
Whoa! Look at the size of this one.
Oh, man.
So this is a white sucker. So it's one of the native fish in our creek. So although we have all this trash in the creek, there is actually fish in the creek too. So we have a handful of different native species of fish. Most of them are smaller like this, so we don't have a lot of really big fish in our creeks.
Hopefully that's gonna taste good. Alright, let's see if we can get another fish. Kind of tricky here. Is that a fish or a can? I don't understand. Oh, okay, got another fish there.
Whoa! Another good sized one. So this fish is a black-nosed dace. So that's one of the more common fish in our creek. So we find them a lot in Philadelphia and then in Montgomery County too.
Let's see what else we got here. Alright. A little tricky, but we'll get it. Alright. Let's see what we got there.
Looks like we have more trash again.
Oh man. I want you to take when that happens.
So what is this?
Oh man, it looks like an aluminum can.
So how do we think we can stop stuff like this? Or better yet, how do you think that this originally got into the creek in the first place?
Oh man, it probably got there from one of our storm drains there. And probably, maybe for someone actually just enjoying a nice beverage when they were walking there.
Oh, that's a great answer. So what are some of the ways that you could stop cans from getting in the creek then?
Well, the number one thing with that one, just like that plastic, was recycling. You know, hopefully, with years to come, the more educated we get when it comes to this type of stuff, we will practice better when it comes to that and avoid these type of situations and provide a better home for the fish here in the creek.
So did you have fun fishing with us today? And did you learn anything?
I did. I learned so much, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for coming out and fishing with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for a sneak peek of the Creekmobile. We hope that you share with us the lesson about not littering to protect our creeks. We look forward to seeing you at next year's Delaware River Festival in person, and we encourage you to visit our website at ttfwatershed.org to learn more about the Creekmobile, our online activities, and other resources that we offer to connect people to their creeks and to improve our watersheds.